To our second lunch and learn session on the Leo J. Meehan School of Business. As most folks know, this is the second of a series of lunch and learn sessions we're doing about To Be Bold, the campaign for Stonehill College. So this is our largest fundraising initiative in the history of the college, and we're really excited about it. And the Leo Meehan School was one of the first projects that we began with. So we're really excited to have everyone participate today. This session is being recorded, so we will post it to our To Be Bold website. And it is a Zoom call, so the best way to view it is if you use the speaker view. If you look at the view in the upper right-hand corner of your Zoom call, put that onto speaker view. And please keep your microphone muted, and then we'll have an opportunity to do some questions with chat or raising your hand. But to begin with, that will be the best way to view the session. So I would love to introduce Deb Salvucci, who is the founding dean of the Leo J. Meehan School of Business. And as most people know, she is finishing up her tenure as the dean, and she will be joining the advancement division in a role for a short time. We're so excited to have Deb working with us. She has been a great leader of the Leo J. Meehan School of Business, and we were so fortunate to have her as our inaugural dean. So I would like to turn the program over to Deb. I know you have a lot of faculty and students on the call today and alumni that are part of the discussion. So Deb, take it away.
Thanks, Doug. Thanks everybody for being here. It's so wonderful seeing so many of you. Just so you know, the campus is open. So if you haven't been to the campus since we've opened the Meehan School of Business, the building, it's gorgeous. Please get in touch with me, come by. I will give you a personal tour. It really is an amazing facility. But you know, as part of this initiative and the capital campaign, we're really envisioning bold, innovative, and distinctive initiatives for the business school and business education as we transform and adapt to the future, where business schools really are responding to the demands to be more inventive, agile, daring, and impactful. The Meehan School, the building itself, offers cutting-edge technology and adaptive modern classrooms. Faculty can be creative in teaching and learning. We are going to hear from a couple of our faculty in a few minutes that will talk to not only to some of our proposals, but some of the things that they've been able to do in the classroom. We've certainly learned so much from the work we've done in educating students during the pandemic. It has allowed us to take a step back and rethink the trajectory we were on before March 2020. And we're going to use what we've learned to modify our pedagogical practices in ways that engage our students and provide diverse learning opportunities for them. For example, expanding experiential learning opportunities throughout the business curriculum so that students do and not just receive information, right? And some of our students will talk about some of these projects. This is one of the opportunities we are putting forward as a bold proposal, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes also. However, the opportunities that we've identified as a result of this process require that we really examine how undergraduate business education relates to society and to the business community. It will mean incorporating new strategies devoted to the economic, environmental, and personal well-being of, not just the local populations, but also domestically and internationally as we consider a global competency as one of our core outcomes of business education. And in training our future business leaders, the question that we ask always, and we've been asking recently, is what impact will our graduates have on the world? How do we ensure that the disruption and the transformation created results in addressing the needs of industries that they'll serve as empathetic leaders. As you know, educating the mind and the heart is at the core of what we do at Stonehill. So the Meehan School's vision outlines the common threads uniting the needs and aspirations of the many different stakeholders of business education, the employers of the various sectors and industries where our students end up working, and a range of organizations representing individuals who truly believe that business is a worthy profession and a social institution that is a force for good in the world. So the bold ideas, proposals that we've put together are distinctive and innovative and seize upon our existing strengths as well as evolve our business education in new directions to strategically engage others in business and to prepare our students to hit the ground running and thrive in a 21st century technologically advanced business world. The major programs in business actually enroll 36% of the student body now on campus, and our minor programs in business, entrepreneurship, data analytics, sports, healthcare administration, and economics attract students from across the college from various majors in the arts and sciences. So a well-rounded interdisciplinary education is still at the core of what we do, and we remain committed to that as our foundation in our undergraduate programming. You know, we also house master's programs now, you might know, in marketing, integrated marketing, and data analytics, and we plan on building out new master's programs in the next few years. So I'd like to turn it over to finance professor Elif Jamara, who has been instrumental in the creation of our FinTech Bold proposal and the FinTech curriculum. With her is Bill Hebert, an alum, FinTech executive who's spoken and in her class the last couple of spring semesters. Professor Mike Mullins with us, who will discuss our experiential learning in the classroom. And Jeff Lennon is with us, class of 2007, right, Jeff, who provides his perspective as a benefactor and employer who's worked with our policy and strategy students on various consulting engagements for WB Mason, which has been really at the undergraduate level a wonderful experience for our seniors as they come together in the strategy and policy course, and typically is done at the master's level, but we've been doing it at the undergraduate level for a number of years now. We also have a few students who have agreed, actually a couple of them have graduated this past spring, Joanna, Ryan Weiss, Lucy Omberg, and then we have Max Melville and Andrew Conity here also to answer questions. So I'm going to turn it over to Elif. Elif, why don't you take it away to discuss FinTech? Elif, you're on mute.
All right, so thank you for joining us today. And I'm going to share one slide, not to lose my train of thought, and maybe it may help you to organize your questions too. So I wanna, we have started FinTech education in Stonehill in spring 2019 after a year or so planning. And we were one of the very first undergrad institutions that offered FinTech course at the undergrad level. So we are very proud to be one of the pioneers. But just want to quickly talk about why we did this. So the most evident reason is there has been a wealth of technological advances after the financial crisis of 2008. And up to today, COVID even accelerated the use of technology in financial sector much further. And so the way we provide financial services has been changing, and which is creating job destruction that makes a lot of people, including our students, nervous. But the positive spin is that it is also creating a lot of jobs, right? The technological advances, and our duty here towards our students is to make them aware of what's happening and to educate them, give them the necessary skills to fit the new market when it comes to what the financial sector needs. And we have a big advantage here in Boston. Boston is one of the main ecosystems of financial technology. I will not get into much more details here, but we have great schools. We have incubators, including Mass Challenge. We have institutions that are data aggregators, providing all the infrastructure that is needed for the advancement of this sector. And we see there's a big opportunity in our locale. When it comes to mission of Stonehill, we felt that this program fits well because one of the main promises of financial technology is to increase financial inclusion. In fact, this year we ran a speaker series, and the main theme has been how fintech is impacting inclusion, diversity, equity, and so on. Who are we catering in our fintech courses? Not only finance students, actually students don't even need to take a finance class before starting their fintech education. We have students from entrepreneurship, data analytics, accounting, criminology, psychology, computer science, neuroscience taking our courses. And all of these majors, they have opportunities to join the fintech sector upon graduation. And in this this classroom where different students, we aim to bring different types of students together from different majors, is almost like a mirror of what they will see in the workplace, this cross-structural team. So that is, we are excited about that. And I want to finish my time by giving you the status of where we are. So far, we have offered a course called Fundamentals of FinTech. We offered this course for 3 times since spring 2019. Alongside the course, we have ran, in my opinion, a very successful FinTech speaker series. We have done it 3 times. We have Bill Hubbard here, and he's a big fan of Stonehill, and he has been a regular guest speaker since the start of the program. We have a course during the development phase. We have given the proposal and it passed. It's called Applications of FinTech. We will be able to offer it when we have the necessary staffing for it. And we are also in the planning phase of Stonehill FinTech Day. So this will depend on what's happening with COVID. Hopefully soon we will be able to bring all the alumni interested in the field together on our beautiful campus. So these are my main points I wanted to communicate, and please feel free to reach out to me, email, phone, everything is okay if you have questions. But I would like to turn now to Bill, and he has been engaged with the program in and out of the classroom, and looking forward to what he has to say. Thank you.
Thanks, Elif, Deb, and Doug. And I'm happy to be here. I've also, as Deb mentioned, I've actually guest lectured for the past, I think it's 3 years now, actually, within the FinTech Elif's invitation within the curriculum. And what's interesting about this, and I think extremely encouraging, is when I went to Stonehill, there were, in fact, even years later, there were no such things as a FinTech program. And I got into financial services and FinTech earlier in my career, but at that time, everything pretty much had to be learned on the job. I think that was true for trading. I think it was a very esoteric thing where everybody had their own language. And then as technology evolved And certainly within the last 20 years, with many things that we talked about in the class that I joined, there's been incredible developments in financial technology, some out of necessity and some out of ingenuity, but it continues. And I think the students today are very fortunate to be able to learn some of this at Stonehill. And I actually credit Stonehill because I talked to other peers of mine in the industry from Northeastern and other places that have similar programs. And I think we're leading edge on this, definitely. I think, you know, comparing this to some of the other firms, even the larger schools, having something like this, particularly in a community like Boston, which is very financially centric. There's so many investment management firms based in Boston that, you know, even New York, I think, is jealous. Most of the brokers in New York and the investment advisors and the financial management firms are in Boston, who are their clients. But for me, I think it's a great opportunity to communicate what I've learned through the years, as well as project out. Because if you look at this, there's, you know, technology at one time was very much kind of a reactive thing, particularly in financial, because people in the industry that were making money off it or had a business weren't necessarily trained in technology, and they didn't know how to greet it. They didn't know how to deal with it. But as time went on, and things like message rates on, you know, tickers and market data and trading and orders and you know, trading life cycles went from, you know, a matter of seconds to microseconds to milliseconds to microseconds as far as processing. It became something that people no longer could avoid. Even the exchanges, I don't know if anybody's been down on the New York Stock Exchange recently, but there's just not this big crowd of people anymore. It's very automated. And that's true across the industry. But I think what, you know, in addition to, you know, sharing what I've learned and kind of watching the evolution of this, and really impressively how a lot of, you know, very brilliant people have stepped up at different firms and worked collaboratively, even competitors, in trying to build this for the industry. In the area where I come from, which is more trading technology, it actually also kind of gives us a view on what's coming forward. So if you look at what happened, you know, I went to a dinner 10 years ago when one of the original protocols was being celebrated and the founders of it. And one of the questions they asked the panelists is, where do you see the industry in 5 to 10 years? Well, if you looked at what was going on back then, they said, well, maybe message rates will be faster, things will grow, processing will become more efficient, you know, human error will be reduced. But now we're looking at technologies that are not just in financial services, but in the whole global business environment, including artificial intelligence, cloud computing, along with that cybersecurity, and many other things which, you know, we know about or can, you know, are hearing about, and may not know about yet. So what I'm very impressed by, and I think that, you know, Elif and Deb and the team have done a great job, is staying on top of the things that are out there, not just for trading systems, but other types of financial technologies, such as credit card processing and things of those nature. And I think, you know, having this at Stonehill, I wish they had it when I was there, but unfortunately at the time, that was not something that was, you know, as interesting, or probably as much attention to as it is now. So I just want, you know, I can't say enough about what this curriculum looks like, what it's teaching the students, what's included in it that I think is really necessary if people are going to graduate from Stonehill and get into anything in financial services or technology. Even if you're not in the technical side of it, or the business or the trading side, you really have to have an appreciation of fintech. There's no question. It's not something that can be left behind anymore. And there's no, you know, in the early parts of my career, you had technical people that were over here and you had business people over here, and that's no longer the case. It's all coming together. So to truly be comprehensively trained and educated in financial services, you have to have an appreciation of fintech and vice versa. So I'm open to questions. I'm available. I'm happy to work with the college, but I'm just very encouraged by what's been done here and happy to participate and help out in any way I can.
Thank you, Bill. And we cannot thank you a lot for enough for what you have done for Stonehill. So I have 3 of the previous FinTech students with us today. Maybe we can go in the order of Lucy, Andrew, and Max. If you want to say a few words. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, so I'm Lucy. I actually just graduated from Stonehill and I'll be doing technology risk consulting for EY. So actually when I took this fintech course during the spring, it was perfect timing because this one I was working on applying and interviewing to jobs. And we had so many different guest speakers, such as Bill, that we're able to connect with on LinkedIn. And every time we connected with them and messaged someone, they always say, like, so happy to keep in touch. Anything like we can do for you, let us know. And even Professor Chiamara, when I got my final interview and I saw I had case study interviews, which I had never done before, I reached out to her and she connected me with a colleague and gave me a lot of advice. So I think throughout this whole fintech class, we've actually gotten to do like experimental learning. And like one of our projects throughout the semester was with Mass Challenge that Professor Chiamara talked about. So we basically had to like create an idea for a fintech product. So it wasn't just like talking about fintech, like we were actually doing it. We were doing the research, like we got to do this challenge and we got to like create something on our own and work with our peers. And like I'm an MIS major. My group, there was finance majors, there was accounting majors. So it was cool how we all kind of had like different aspects looking at our product, like what the finance people were focused on and like what I was focused on were the technology and like the accounting. So I think also that the class is like very diverse in what we're learning. And also like this semester there was a lot going on with like diversity, even separate from fintech with the college. And like we're able to have guest speakers about that and like talk about it in the class in the area of fintech, which was really cool. We had some speakers on like inclusion, which was awesome. And even like all the events that went on this semester, like with Robinhood, and like I didn't fully understand that, and we talked about it in class, and like everybody talks about Bitcoin, but like what is Bitcoin, what is blockchain, like all that stuff. Like now we can go and talk about it, and like I can start conversations with people. Like I created a Coinbase and I'm invested in different cryptos now, and not Bitcoin, like Ethereum and other ones, so Cardano, and now I'm like interested in all this stuff. So I can't speak enough about this class and Professor Chiamara and like always being available to help out. And like I would 110% recommend this class and I'm thankful for it and all that Stonehill has offered me.
Thank you, Lucy.
Yeah. Oh, my bad. So similar to Lucy, it was a great course Professor Shamara ran, FinTech this semester. My name's Andrew. I'm a rising senior finance major, economics and entrepreneurship minor. And certainly FinTech was never more prevalent than it was this semester, which was incredible to see going through the course. Obviously, like Lucy said, with Robinhood, the rise in cryptocurrencies, it was super cool to take this course while all this was going on to really kind of at least get a good understanding of what was going on and why. So a couple of different topics that we discussed throughout was blockchain technology, digital payments and cryptos, AI, artificial intelligence, robo-advisors, things of that sort. It was super cool to see too, kind of what's the whole premise of FinTech, and that is kind of the financial inclusion factor, as Professor Shamar just talked about before, with interconnectedness as it continues to develop over time. Honestly, I continue to see this course being extremely prevalent, and I see Stonehill continuing to grow the program just because I feel like this gives students a huge leg up going into the real world, being able to understand what's going on around us right now and kind of being able to get a step ahead of other applicants and things of that sort too. As Lucy said as well, it was super cool to actually develop our own FinTech product and work with a group on that. So that was pretty incredible. And the guest speakers were great. It just provided a great hands-on experience for the course as a whole, with Mr. Hebert being one of them. I guess an example of our FinTech product that we did, we kind of created an application that allowed customers to invest into the market and directly pay off their student loans. And essentially, we're trying to emphasize that by creating a partnership with the federal government to reduce capital gains taxes if they were to use our application. So it's like encouraging student loan repayment, empowering the youth, and essentially getting out of that cloud of student loan debt, which becomes extremely more prevalent as we go through. But overall, it was a great course that Professor Shamara taught to us. I'm super excited, and I hope the program continues to grow as it becomes more prevalent.
Thanks, Andrew. Hi, Max.
Hey guys, I'm Max. I'm a rising senior, and I'm a finance major with a double minor in entrepreneurship and econ, like Andrew. I worked with Andrew on the FinTech startup idea, and the course has been really great. Not much more I can add. Lucy and Andrew have done a great job summarizing the class, but I really just want to reiterate how great the guest speakers were throughout. I learned so much. We have people from all different areas. We had a speaker who works in fintech in Africa. We have Mr. Hebert here today. There's Mr. Dangelmeyer and Miss Onofrio, whose company just went public, which is Flywire. And there's so many great opportunities. I know Andrew and I were talking throughout the semester, saying how we're surprised other schools don't have such a developed fintech program yet, and how it's a huge, huge opportunity that we're glad to be a part of. And I hope it grows, and it seems to be growing, which is super exciting.
Thank you, Max. Thank you all. Right, I think that's all we have to say about FinTech Deb. Thank you for giving us the floor.
Yeah, thanks, Elif. Thanks, Bill, Max, Lucy, Andrew. We appreciate you being here and sharing your stories. One thing I just want to add is that Elif's course attracts so many students every semester. For the last three spring semesters, she's allowed them all in. And as she mentioned, there are students from across the campus. You know, this technology and what's happening in finance just doesn't apply to business or business students. Really, it really impacts all of us, right? It impacts our daily life. It impacts the future of how we will invest, how we bank, and therefore it's really critical that this program move forward. I have to say that I'm extremely impressed by not only the work that Elif has done, but the work that the students have done, you know, whether it's because they're innovative, creative, but the impact that this one course has already had on our students is pretty incredible. So thank you again. I'm going to turn it over now to Mike Mullen. Mike is going to Mike with Ryan Weiss and Joanna Engel will speak about our experiential learning initiative, experiential opportunities. We have it in our strategic plan, the business department strategic plan on expanding experiential opportunities in the curriculum and why it's so important that undergraduates have these opportunities. So Michael, I will turn it over to you.
Thanks, Deb. Let me just echo what you just said about FinTech and what Professor Ciamara has done. So much more could have been done, but we've been resource constrained in order to make that happen. And so I'm hoping that you really take to heart what's being said here about where the future is, why we care, what it means to the students, and what it can mean for the college in the future. And I'd like to see her run even faster if she had the resources to be able to do that. So I'm fully behind us really being able to develop that even further. So I hope you feel the same way. You know, it's been funny. For 10 years, I've been with, a little over 10 years, I've been with Stonehill. I still remember the day when Debbie interviewed me over at Stoneforge at lunch to talk about joining the school. And time flies by so fast, but it's been remarkable to see the changes that have happened in the last 10 years. I mean, I was just thinking about it this morning in preparation for talking with you. It has been remarkable. We have accreditation, which provides us the kind of support that you need from an external body that says that your program is one of the best. And there's not as many schools out there with this kind of accreditation than you think. And that's important. We have a business building and all the resources that comes with it. And that's really important. And the reason why I'm raising these things is because these are the tools that we've added to what has been traditionally a really good program, driven in large part by experiential learning opportunities. As a teacher, I find the thing that affects students the most when I see them are things like study abroad, right? Classical case of an experiential learning opportunity. They come back from that different, better, more mature. Internships. Internships are amazingly important for them. And when you see them, especially between junior and senior year, or they're at that maturity level and they get the exposure to professionals, it's absolutely awesome. There's so much more that can be done there. Bob Spencer, runs our policy and strategy class. And it's effectively a consulting class where students spend most of the entire semester on projects for local businesses. And when I say local businesses, I just don't mean the guys around the corner, but they can be as big as Johnson & Johnson that happens to have one of their divisional operations nearby that needs some help. And the impact that that has is absolutely enormous. There couldn't be a more important area about experiential learning. The next year or so is going to be a very important year for us as a college, because we will have our review of our ASCSB accreditation once more. We've isolated what we want to do and in that capacity of our strategic plan. And we just basically finalized what we're going to submit to ASCSB in recent weeks. But one of the core parts of that strategic plan is to advance what we do in experiential learning. Over the 10 years, we've done so much, but we need to institutionalize that. And to be able to institutionalize that, we need support. We need to hire people to help coordinate the activities so that it's not just Bob Spencer, for example, that's doing this, but it's in marketing, it's in accounting, it's in management. It's in all the areas that we can have an impact, not just on the students and not just on non-business students, but the community at large and the Stonehill alumni population in a bigger framework. That's what the accreditation agency wants to see from us. That's what they're asking. They're asking, what kind of impact does your program have on the community at large? Right? What is your quote unquote force for good? And that's what we're trying to do here. Many of you know that within about a year or so after I arrived, we began the process of developing the sci-fi program, the Stonehill College Investment Finance Initiative. Well, that's changed. It's evolved, it's developed so that now it's the Stonehill College Inspire Finance Initiatives. And in doing that, we have programs not just for seniors, but we now have programs for juniors and for sophomores. And it's evolved with the big connection to what? Experiential learning. And without the input from alumni coming in and talking about leadership or access to certification programs that are provided by third-party vendors that don't cost the students anything, but give them a chance to build resumes. To actually have students work with students with our Engage program. And of course, the launch program that we started, which was the idea was to try to inspire more women to become finance majors and have personal mentors from the professional community. That's evolved into the Women in Finance program. So we don't just sit resting on our laurels here. What we try to do is continuously improve what we offer. And we're at that point now where we need assistance from an experiential learning to really take that to a completely different level so that it's not just the breadth, but it's also the depth of what we basically do. It's a critical part of our mission. It's a critical part of our core strategy for the business department. And I'm excited about what we could do if we had the resources to be able to do that. So I'm going to shut up here for a moment because any one of you who've had me in class know that I could go on forever. So I'm going to turn it over to Ryan. I'll let him introduce himself and talk a little about his experience in the Skyhawk Investment Group this year.
Thanks, Professor Mullen. Hi, everyone. Nice to see you all. My name's Ryan Weiss. I just graduated a couple weeks ago. And here, like today, what I want to talk about is kind of what Professor Mullen was just hinting at is within the Skyhawk Investment Group, I think, what we focus on is always trying to evolve the program to match the needs of where the entire business industry is going. So as Professor Ciamara and her students just alluded to with FinTech, everything's kind of evolving very, very fast. And especially COVID's kind of pushed that along as well. So this year, some of the things that we really focused on were continuously trying to get the engagement from younger students within the school. So the Skyhawk Investment Group was typically only open to select juniors and mostly seniors. And what we're trying to do now, like Professor Mullen said, is open it up to not open up the Skyhawk Investment Group, but create new programs to really incentivize students to really want to get engaged early on and trying to develop a passion for what they want to do. You know, one of the things that was mentioned was Professor Spencer's capstone class, which you take in your senior year. And for that, it's basically a year-long consulting gig, and it's an amazing experience. And sometimes it's a little too late for students to kind of find exactly what they want to get into. So if you really enjoy the consulting route and, you know, kind of talking to businesses daily, you don't really get that true experience until your senior year. And sometimes if you're trying to do a consulting thing, it might be a little too late. And that's why where Professor Mullen alluded to, we kind of need to start getting some of these things earlier to allow students to have those experiences and truly develop and find out where they want to go. And I think the school's done a tremendous job of that. It helped me, you know, find my career path and where I want to go. But I think, you know, constantly engaging the underclassmen and getting them involved from kind of day one as soon as they step on campus, no matter what their major is, I think is really going to benefit it. And that's kind of a really big piece of the experiential learning that we're pushing here. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk. If anyone has questions for me, feel free to ask, and I will pass it over to Johanna.
Thanks, Ryan. I'm Johanna Engel. I recently graduated as well. I was an accounting and communications double major. I'll be working with PwC after graduation starting in September in their audit committee. But I am here to talk about my experience with the policy and strategy class. And so I think the greatest benefits that I got out of that, and Ryan already pretty much said it all, but I really wish that I had taken it a lot sooner. I know that some people could take it in their fall semester. For me, it worked out to fit best spring semester, but I think that the best part about it was the amount of connections that you can make. And it's not just within your Stonehill network, it's your students, your classmates, faculty, and then you have external communication too. So within your consulting group, I was working with Sullivan Tire, and we were given a prompt from one of the associates there, and we pretty much just took it and ran with it. And we were constantly in contact with them throughout the entire semester. So we were with them for 3 months working on a project, and the entirety of the project did evolve. So they had a prompt for us, and then we kind of shifted gears and took what we learned from the last 4 years of Stonehill and applied it to how we thought would best fit. And so it was kind of like a good compromise, but it was a really good, initiative to like the consulting world. So it's something that I had never even considered as a job. It wasn't in my career path my first 3 years, but it worked out, and I'm really happy that I took the class. It was probably one of my favorite classes at Stonehill, honestly.
Thank you guys very much. Deborah, I'll turn it back to you.
Great. Thank you, everybody. Mike, Joanna, Ryan, thank you so much. I'm going to let Jeff Lennon speak and talk about not only the impact being a benefactor has been on the college, but also I know Jeff has been part of this consulting projects that we've done with WB Mason for many years now in the policy and strategy course, and working with the students, and maybe even Jeff, a little bit about the type of advice you've gotten from the students and the transformation you might have seen over the course of a semester where students get to engage with executives at organizations like WB Mason. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Jeff. Thank you. Jeff, you're on mute.
Very good. Hopefully you can hear me okay. I was trying to come through my phone, but we'll go this way. So Jeff Lennon, class of 2007, majored in finance and economics. during my time. Started out working at PricewaterhouseCoopers, so Joanna, I know you'll love it there. I was in our advisory practice at the time, and focused on kind of financial process and technology consulting during my time there. Actually, one of my main clients at the time was WB Mason, and then continued on in my career at PwC, and then ultimately, just recently, well, not just recently, it's several years now, back in 2017, joined WB Mason directly, working with them on their next phase of digital transformation projects that they're working on now. So very exciting time. So I guess I'll start with on the benefactor front there, and kind of talk just a little bit about why I chose to support the Meehan School specifically as part of this very exciting bold campaign. So I mean, as I was thinking about it for today's call here, kind of came down to three main drivers of why I was looking to participate. One, proud alum of the business program. It was a tremendous program when I was at Stonehill back in 2003 to 2007, with the resources and tools we had available to us then. So I know that with all the extra resources available to it now, sky's the limit in terms of where we're going. So more than happy to support the continued growth and excellence of the program. So it's kind of reason one. Reason two being, having worked with WB Mason for both part of my career at PwC and now as the main part my focus at WB Mason now, I was just happy to support the tremendous kind of legacy contribution that Leo Meehan has made to naming the school and supporting the construction of the building and all of that. So was more than happy to support that important milestone contribution that they made as a company and Leo individually. So lastly, I would say kind of more personal or specific reasons. I was hoping that my good friend John Hughes is going to be able to join today as well, also class of 2007. He was unfortunately tied up and unable to attend, but my good friend John and I would spend a fair amount of time, studying in the old Stanger building in the Bloomberg room whenever we were, preparing for presentations or for, exams, those types of things. So John and I and our wives, who we both met at Stonehill and are proud Stonehill alums as well, decided to partner up around a named space in the Meehan building. So we thought it would be a fun way to commemorate the great times that we had in the Stanger building, which is now no longer, obviously. It's been replaced by the much more impressive and large Meehan facility. But we thought it'd be nice to have a named study space to kind of commemorate the fun times that we had, in Stanger and during our time in the business program. So those are kind of my three main reasons for why I was excited to be part of this campaign and then contribute specifically to the Meehan School of Business. So having said that, focusing a little bit on the kind of experiential learning front, I'm actually delighted to see Teresa Salamino's name on the grid here, is because one of my experiential learning opportunities that I took advantage of when I was at Stonehill was at Pramal Asset Management in New York. So I did a summer internship, that was initiated by Larry Salamino during my time there. So I was very pleased to have that experience done in New York City, and Professor Mullen was spot on in terms of those are transformational opportunities. I came from a small town in Maine. Stonehill, when you're there, as you know, it can be kind of very close-knit community as well. So to live in New York City, do the commute, work in the office and all of that. Coming back in my senior year, certainly experienced a lot of benefit from that experiential learning opportunity that I had. So very big proponent of that as well. And speaking about these consulting engagements, it is a lot of fun to be part of these. I think having folks come into WB Mason is probably one of the best places that you can have one of those types of engagements. Both they're certainly very supportive and love all Stonehill students, as just evidenced by the amount of Stonehill alums who are employed at WB Mason. But I think if you can manage to get through a meeting with Leo with only a few scars, you're going to be set up for success in any business setting. Certainly, setting foot into the fourth floor boardroom at WB Mason is kind of a special experience that not too many people get to have. So a lot of fun engagements and projects that we've seen kind of pitched over time there, and I've enjoyed being able to engage with the students to get that fresh perspective, that outsider perspective. Certainly been impressed too with the kind of deep data and analytics focus as well. I mean, it's always been a key part of the curriculum and the like, but just the skills and the capabilities of the students these past years, you can really see the impact of kind of the improvement of that program. The increased focus on that as part of the program has just been particularly apparent as part of that. So glad to have had an opportunity to talk to you a little bit about those two pieces, both kind of reasons why I'm happy to support the Bold campaign from perspective of the Meehan School, and also how I've seen kind of the impact of that contribution and as the continued growth and excellence of the program. So happy to answer any questions as well, but otherwise I'll hand it back to Deb.
Thank you so much, Jeff, and thank you for all your support. We truly appreciate all you've done for us. I just want to say that, I want to take some questions, but before I do, I just want to say one thing. Although I am moving on, the business school and the business program is certainly well equipped with amazing faculty who will move business education at Stonehill forward. And they'll ensure that, the programs evolve and remain relevant and current. And we have a wonderful mix of faculty with various with academic preparations, professional experience. They're pretty amazing people. And of course, working with Doug and his team, I want to make sure that we do have the resources that we need to expand our programming and ensure that future students get everything they need out of a Stonehill education. So I just wanted to make sure you realize that I'm not leaving them high and dry. So can we take some questions?
Sure, Deb. I had a question submitted earlier, and maybe Mike can help with this too, but could you talk about some of the technology in the new Meehan School of Business? I mean, as you said, that building is a game changer. We had such a great business program before we had the Meehan School of Business. Now that we have that, and with really talented faculty, and as you heard from our students today, just great opportunities being provided to them. But if you could just spend a minute on the technology or really what the teaching and learning spaces are like in the Meehan School.
I'll jump in, Devin, and address it, and please add on anything that you think I've missed. I think the best way to respond is, I'm not sure how we would have managed the last year through COVID without having the Meehan School of Business. We were able to run hybrid classes. So we had students on campus, we had students away from campus, we had everybody connected. And even our technology department for the college has improved on what it does, so that it was almost seamless for me as a faculty member to be able to bring this all together and make it work. So where it's really important that we bring professionals into the classroom and have that personal contact, we would not have been able to even have any contact without the fact that we have cameras in the classrooms. We have the ability to have anybody around the world come in at any point in time and be able to talk to students in a group. I think technology sometimes gets over thought about until something bad happens. And then you realize how critically important that can be to you and how you can continue to effectively do your job as a result of what that's basically brought to you. But in the end, what we're talking about here has a lot to do, not necessarily with technology. It's a tool that helps us bridge, but we're looking forward to getting back to campus next year and being able to bring you all into the classroom physically, emotionally, personally, make that connection with students. I want students who have internships not to be doing it from a desk at their home or in their bedroom, but in person at those organizations. That's something that technology can't bring you. But what we have right now is awesome. It's awesome, and it's there to protect us on the downside at the very least. And we'll see how it continues to advance us on the upside. But we're very blessed.
Yeah, the only thing I'd add, Mike, is the building gives us the capacity to do anything we want to do in the classroom as it pertains to technology, right? We have, anybody that has even young children or children in high school realizes that nobody has physical books anymore. Nobody has, you don't have to upload technology onto your computer anymore. I mean, everything we have is in those classrooms, and whether it's incorporating data analytics tools into the classroom, whether it's just inviting guest speakers from around the world into the classroom, whether it is videotaping any course, any class, so students can go back and review material over and over again at their leisure. We have faculty that are incorporating, whether it be SAS certification or Salesforce or Microsoft Project in our project management course. It's so easy for the faculty to do all of this now because the classrooms have the capacity to do it. And that's the way the building was set up. And it will allow us just to move forward with, as we know, everything we do is based on technology, and therefore, this building allows us to do all of that. So, Joanna, I saw you had your hand up. Did you want to say something?
Yeah, I was just going to add on top of that. So as a student perspective, I totally agree that this year probably would not have gone as successfully in person as it did without all that technology. So a lot of my classes were in person, but with that being said, they were high flex. So we would meet once or twice a week in the classroom, switching off between who has to do the class remotely. And so there were some errors along the way, of course, but it really helped everyone stay engaged and stay motivated throughout this entire year. And the ability of being able to do all that. So one of the pieces of technology that Dean Salvucci was talking about was going back and rewatching lectures. That was probably one of my favorite tools that the Meehan school has. And not every classroom has that, but I wish that it did. But those smart boards that can record the lectures and then we can go back and record it. And because it's in the cloud, we can go back anywhere and rewatch that from anywhere. And then even something as simple as printing, although not a lot of people do a lot of printing, I do like having stuff on paper, but even something as easy as printing. So you don't want to be touching all the same printers that everybody else in the school was touching, which is like one of the big things that the faculty and staff made sure just to mitigate the risk of spreading the virus. But even just with printing, you can print from your phone, you can print from your laptop, you can print from one of the computers in Meehan, and it connects to all of the different printers on campus. And so just these like little tools make it really helpful. Even like a software that the library has, and the Meehan school also has it too, but booking a classroom. So
booking a classroom for a study space or for a study group. Just a different thing that I don't think that we had to do when we had Stanger, or like, I never did that in Duffy or anything, but to be able to do that and then have a room to yourself to study, to at least go out of your dorm and not be 24/7 in your dorm room was really helpful as well.
Those are great examples, Joanna, by the way, of how their technology people have really rose to the occasion to make last year as good as it was.
Yeah, thanks, Joanna. And you know what, for somebody like Jeff Lennon or some of the other former students I see on this call, the reason why they didn't have to book spaces, there were no spaces to book. So, now we have study spaces and social spaces and lots of spaces for students to hang out at or study, that where they don't have to be in their dormitories. So yes, it's really wonderful to have, see students all over the building, whether it's socializing or studying or interviewing. We have interview rooms. It really is an amazing facility. It really is. It's great. I see there is one question in the chat. I'm just going to read it. I'll start it out, and maybe if Mike wants to add. I know Elif has to leave, but what do you see as the future of business education for Stonehill? What are some new areas that will emerge in the next 3 to 5 years? I would say the continual integration of technology into every discipline and everything we do is going to be number one. Number two, to continue to have interdisciplinary programs. For example, I think one big one would be something like cybersecurity. As we know, as of yesterday, I guess our transit system, the boats were with the steamship authority was hacked. The transit, system in New York was hacked. The pipeline was hacked. The meat packers were hacked. What are we going to do? And how do we? There's so many more opportunities in cybersecurity. And that would be, I think, an important field. If you don't know this, this fall, for the first, this will be the first class of 2025, the first year, we're offering a new major in business and sports management. We had a lot of interest, and we have 26 students coming in for the class of 2025, starting out as sports management majors in the fall. Yeah, I would say those were some of the areas that I think would be, will emerge in the next few years. Mike, I don't know if you have, I'll say one more thing, and Mike, you might have wanted to say this, but there are going to be so many opportunities in government, business and government. And then, of course, business and healthcare, especially over the last year and a half, is just blown up, the opportunities. So we'll continue to move forward and look at some master's programs too in those areas. But,
I would reiterate that, Deb, the idea of public finance and public administration. It's a sort of a classic example of how we can leverage what we do in the business program with other departments around the campus. Public administration is part in way of the political science department's realm, but yet public finance is going to be such a critical thing. Turns out all us baby boomers, I'm at the tail end cycle of that with Deb, but all the baby boomers are retiring, and there's not enough people to fill those roles in government. And so people generally go, oh, I don't want government, I want to do industry stuff. It sounds more exciting, but yet it's the same stuff. And we need to make sure that we educate students to understand that and to give them the idea that there's some real opportunities for them at very serious levels in the future there. So I would fully wholehearted that. And also the healthcare administration, the baby boomers are retiring, and then they're going to the 55 and older communities. They're going to need a lot of help. I'm not talking about you, Doug. Don't worry. It's okay.
Oh, I'm right there, Mike. So yeah, that's perfect.
But the rest of us are going to need help. We've talked about fintech, but fintech is a piece of this whole data analytics thing that's going on here. And I kind of look at it as like the sun, and it's drawing in accounting, finance, and economics. Just a lot of things are critically focused on that. So it doesn't have to be a dramatic change that happens here over the next 5 years. It's a slow evolutionary change that we move our curriculums to be able to meet the needs of the marketplace. And I think we're thinking forward and basically doing that. And, you know, something like FinTech, what does it do? It brings an interest in maybe, for example, Andrew or Max, for example, taking a class in Python. Who would have thought that as a finance major getting out of school, people would be looking for you to have some skills in doing basic Python programming? Well, you know what? They are. If you look at the job descriptions, they're looking for that. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be exciting, but I think we're doing you well by thinking forward and making sure that our curriculum evolves with this opportunity.
Any other questions?
Good.
I know we're at the 1
Yeah, we're-
o'clock, a little after 1.
Just
so.
a little bit, yeah, a little bit after 1, but I really want to thank everyone who joined us for the call today, especially our faculty and our students. I know all of the alums on the call are wishing they could go back to school, right? And go back into the Meehan building and to be able to, you know, experience the great opportunities. It really is amazing. If you have not been to campus, you know, really make plans to come visit, especially in the fall when, you know, the school is in session and active, and you'll see students in the classrooms. The Meehan building is just, it's a sense of vibrancy on campus that you just can't experience until you're in the building and you can see it. It really is wonderful. You know, we covered some great opportunities for people to be able to invest in the business program, whether it be one of our bold ideas like, you know, FinTech or business consults, or in the building. We still have a lot of great opportunities if people would like to invest in the building itself. We have some great naming opportunities available. So that's out there. But thank you everyone for being here today. Please visit the campaign website, toBebold.stonehill.edu. If you go just to stonehill.edu, the main website right at the top, you can click it. And that will be a place where you'll see upcoming virtual campaign events, as well as in-person campaign events, and be able to stay up to date on some of the latest news regarding To Be Bold, the campaign for Stonehill. So this was great today. To our recent graduates, you know, good luck. I know you're going to make Stonehill very proud out there in the working world at PwC and wherever you may be. That's such great news. And really thank you, Mike and Deb and Alif, who was here, for all that you do to help Stonehill. We really appreciate it. So everyone enjoy the day, and we'll catch up soon. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.
everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone.